Welcome back. Now, the Eastern Cape Sport, Recreation, Arts and Culture Department is set to hold public hearings on name changes that will affect some municipalities in the province this week. To name a few, in the Chris Hani District Municipality, the department is proposing Cradock being named Inqubagala Dokwe. To unpack this further for us and the name changes on the cards for the home of the Legends province, I'm now joined live from Gqeberha by the Eastern Cape Provincial Geographic Names Committee chairperson, Zukile Jodwana. Thank you very much, Mr. Jodwana, for your time here on All Angles. Now, firstly, in terms of the name changes, you know, a lot of people, especially looking at what happened nationally with the flag, the first question would be, how much money would it cost to make these changes?
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for the question. I think the first thing that we need to understand with the issue of standardization of geographical names is that it is a transformation matter which should have been done a long time ago, but because of the slow pace of our changes in South Africa, we had to embark on that change. And it is taken in that context that every transformation then needs to have cost allocated to it. But nevertheless, if I can zoom into your question with that background, is that the issue of standardizing geographical names is a mandate that has been budgeted for by the department, which should be seen within the context of intangible service delivery, whilst others are looking at tangible service delivery. But also we need to take into consideration intangible service delivery that then needs to be taken into consideration as well.
But a lot of people would say that they want more of the tangible service delivery, because you should read the room. The country is going through the most right now. The Eastern Cape experienced, for instance, flooding, and I know that each department has its own budget, but as government, can't you redirect some funds when you can see that there's a crisis?
Well, that has been done, I think, in the context. I mean, we have seen during the era of the COVID, where we had to reprioritize. But I must say that this aspect, it's not something that should be shelved away, because it's something that is going to haunt us even years to come, where our children ask us about why didn't we transform areas where they need to be transformed. So it is in that context that we need, understandably so, that we need to reprioritize and also focus on other areas where disasters hit. But at the same time, we need not to forget our responsibility to ensure that we have a transformed South Africa in terms of the geographical landscape, particularly the province, where you find that when you are in this province, you feel like you are in Europe, because many of the names that are in the province are reflective of what cities and towns or individuals in Europe. So yes, there is need for prioritization, but at the same time not forgetting the responsibility to ensure that we transform at an intangible level as well.
I want you to just explain to me, okay, so there's tangible and there's intangible service delivery, right? So the Eastern Cape, we call it the home of the legends because of your Tata Madiba, you know, Cradock 4, Winnie Madikizela Mandela, the list goes on. So a lot of people are saying, yes, we live in a legendary province, but we don't get the things that we would have expected to get in terms of changes to the province, from a rural province to something that looks more like an urban one. So how will this particular, I know that it will bring in healing, social, there's some elements that the department is responsible for in terms of healing South Africa, etc. But what else would it do for South Africa, especially with people who don't have homes, don't have roads to drive on, etc.? Well,
if we look at the issue of names in general, particularly standardizing geographical names, within the names there is embedded a lot of history and heritage in them. And some of the names, if you look at them, are names that, those that are proposed are names that have been used, or if I can say, original names of those geographical features. And in them, there is heritage, there is culture and history. And if you also take into consideration the language that is also associated, because some of the languages, if you look at the Khoi language, it has been wiped off because we have not paid attention to names that are associated with the Khoi. So in engaging in this program, it therefore means that we also bring back that part of history and the heritage which people do identify with. And it is important that we do not forget the heritage of the people, which also is in all different forms.
Just very quickly, and I am running out of time. I'm being told that time's running out for us. On a happier note, with our interview, in terms of the name change for the Cradock 4, the name that you have come up with that you are saying should replace Cradock 4. What does it mean and why that particular name?
No, well, let's rather say it's not Cradock 4, but Cradock, the Cradock 4 were named because they come from that particular area. But the town itself, which was established in the 1800s after Cradock, is the one that we are focusing on. And the proposal is that it's either should be Ingoba, which is a name that is derived from the river, which is well known as Great Fish River. And Kaladokwe, I think we have informed the applicant that Kaladokwe is a corruption of Cradock. And therefore, in terms of the rules of orthography, we can't pursue that application further because it is not going to give a correct history and an interpretation of cultural heritage associated with that name. So there is no association in isiXhosa with that particular name, Kaladokwe. So Kaladokwe is a corruption of Cradock, and therefore it is important that we focus on Cradock and Ingoba as well.
Oh, all right. Okay. And so before I let you go, just very quickly, in terms of these name changes, it seems to South Africans that government is only aiming to name all these places after ANC struggle stalwarts. Will you be naming some of these under, I don't know, other political parties like the PAC who were also there fighting for our liberation?
Well, if you have been following the process, particularly in the Eastern Cape, where it focuses on names, we are looking at both fauna and flora. And the names that have come up are names that do not necessarily reflect those of individuals, but that reflects the beauty of our country. It's names that after rivers, after mountains, and after specific animals that are found in the province. So we have been lucky in a way to facilitate a process that recognizes that beauty within the province as well.
Thank you so much for speaking to us this morning here on All Angles, all the way from Gqeberha. That was the eNCA Provincial Geographic Names Committee Chairperson, Zukile Jodwana.